Peugeot 306 update time. The reason I haven't done too many videos on this thing so far is one, because I've just been really busy, and two, there's actually been nothing to talk about. This thing has been drop dead reliable since the day I bought it. Now, I'm going to obviously, well, there is no wood in here because it's a very, very basic model, so I'm going to touch my head. Touch wood, it stays that way. Nothing has gone wrong. It's been absolutely, it's been pretty boring actually. I really like it. It's a cracking little car, but there have been no issues, just none, which is exactly what you want, especially with an old car. This thing's not far from 30 years, it's 27 years old. So it's obviously testament to Peugeot's 90s build quality and the previous owner. The only thing that's gone slightly wrong was a €10 repair for a slow puncture on the right-hand driver's tyre. So I'm kind of stunned as to how fantastically reliable this thing has been. Having said that though, there will be bills on the way because it needs a service, and I'm going to get the belts done as well because there is literally no history that came with the car, so I have no idea what work has been done, what jobs need doing, etc, etc. It clearly has been very well looked after because it's very clean and it feels really, really nice and tight. So, you know, the previous owners, they may not have kept any of the receipts, but work has clearly been done to it over the last 27 years. Give it some beans here up this slight incline. We're now into 5th gear and it's pulling really, really well, and we navigate this slight left-hander here and we're going to crest a hill like that. Ah, that's brilliant. That is fantastic. You honestly, you wouldn't think this car is as old as it is. Everything feels so tight and so responsive. It's fantastic. When I first bought the car, I did notice a grumbling noise from the front left-hand side wheel. It's still there, and you can only really hear it when you accelerate and when you're at a certain speed. I'm doing, what am I doing now? About 50 miles an hour. I can just about hear it. If I'm on the motorway doing 60 to 70, it is quite a lot more audible. Don't know what that is. I mean, it hasn't gotten any worse, I don't think. So I've just kind of left it. I mean, I will obviously get it looked at, but for now, I don't think it's a major thing. I'm hoping it's a wheel bearing, something like that. So, fingers crossed that'll be a cheap fix. And sometimes when I indicate and turn the wheel at the same time, the indicators will speed up. Not ideal. I did actually get pulled over by the police, the Irish, the Gardaí. Not too long ago, about 3 or 4 weeks after I bought it, because they were saying that the brake light was flashing as well. So indicators work absolutely fine, just I think it flashes one of the brake lights at the back as well, so that might need looking into. Possibly dodgy earth or a poor connection when I turn the wheel, but hopefully not a huge problem. Now, when I say the car comes with no history, I suppose I'm not strictly being truthful, but it comes with effectively no history. So here is the maintenance schedule, and I have got a couple of stamps here, but well, they haven't been for quite a long time. Let me find them. Hang on a second. I do have stamps. Let me just get them in here. There we go. So, so the last service stamp in the book was on the 5th of June 1998 at just 7,100 miles, I assume that is, yeah, because the clock's in miles. Next one at 16,000 miles, and we're now on 103,804. That was at Appleyard Motors up in Stillorgan in County Dublin. Must spin up that way and see if that place still exists. I don't think it exists under the Appleyard name anymore, but I wonder, is it still an active dealership? If anybody knows, drop a comment in the video. Whilst I have the warranty and maintenance record booklet out, we might as well have a glance at the other documentation that came with the car. And it all comes in this rather snazzy kind of vinyl embossed Peugeot wallet. So we've got the Peugeot Audio 30103020 special features documentation booklet thing. It doesn't tally with the radio that I've got at all, which is a shame. And neither do any of the radio header units that are in it. So, yeah, none of those are the same, sadly. Let's have a look. Have they got any others in here? Yes, they do. They've got 2 more there, and as you can see, they are not the same either. So that isn't of much use to me at all. We also have, hang on a second there, Peugeot in the UK, which is of absolutely no use because we're not in the UK. But anyway, let's have a little leaf through it. This booklet is designed to assist you in getting the most out of your Peugeot and out of the Peugeot network. Back in 1996 it was useful. I wouldn't say it's of much use to me now. Will that number ring? Who knows? Wouldn't put money on it. Some AA stuff in there. And I think there's a big map of, well, it's just a big map really, think of the United Kingdom. Yeah, there's Scotland, and obviously next it'll be most likely England or whatever. There we go, that is there. Oh look, there's Louth on the east coast of the UK, of England, not Louth, which is where we are in the Republic of Ireland. Map of Birmingham there. This, I'd imagine quite a lot of this has changed, obviously, in the 27 years since it was printed, with new motorways and roads and all that kind of stuff. But there is a, there's dealer details here. But again, nothing for the Republic of Ireland, which isn't much use to me at all. This is an original Irish car, judging by the dealer stickers at the back, but I don't know why they've not included any Irish information. Peugeot Réseau Exploitation. Don't know what that means. Something to do with export network. Ah, here we go. This is where the Irish information will be, I would imagine. République d'Irlande. Dublin 12, Gowan Distributors. Gowan House on the Nace Road. Does that place still survive? Let me know if anybody knows. Stuff for America and Asia. Very interesting. So we'll put that over there. Peugeot Assistance. Yeah, this is going to be a fat lot of good to me almost 30 years later. Your new Peugeot is automatically covered by the benefits of Peugeot Assistance. 7 days a week, 24 hours per day, 365 days a year. When did that warranty expire, I wonder? Fantastic stuff. I love all of these period details. It's all fantastic. No mention of websites or anything like that, for obvious reasons. And it's a lovely little booklet, that as well, isn't it? That's all for in there. We've got a nice little card here, Peugeot Assistance, which I've also got up here on the windscreen too. And then we have the handbook, and I love this. Look at that. It's a really buttery biscuit. Well, actually, it's not that buttery biscuit base, because it's got fog lights. Peugeot 306 there. It does look quite fetching and red, and I love those plastic wheel trims. Look at that. Oh, how fantastic is this? You know what I'll do? I'll do a proper video run through of this handbook at some stage in the not too distant future, but let's have a little flick through it for now. Changing a fuse. You don't get all this information in modern car handbooks, do you? No, you don't. Because we've all become too lazy and too stupid, I think. So yeah, that's the little pile of documentation that I've got there. A lot of it probably not much use to me, but I do like to have it to leaf through. Back to the radio and stereo for a moment. This is a Crap Car Collective first. It is the cassette tape challenge, or cassette tape test. So I bought this Blur album, which is one of my favourites off the internet recently. And if I can open it with one hand, that'd be useful. There we go. So I'm going to pop it out and see, does it work or not? Let's see. Give it a moment. Now, I can't broadcast much music in case this video gets removed or whatever, or copyrighted, but it works. Good stuff. It works a treat. And fast forward. I think that's to the end of it. Let's rewind. Yep, sounds like that's all good. And then it should just play. Haven't done cassettes for years. Yeah, it does work. We will take that as a victory. Whilst I'm inside the car, I might as well point out a few of the other issues, whether they be cosmetic or practical, in this car. So it comes with this really rather nifty volume control here, and I think you can change the channel as well, based on what it says at the back there. Yes, there we are. But it's very, very loose, very flappy, and it doesn't work at all. So if I pop the radio, sorry, the radio is on. It's just got static. Let's put an actual station on. There we are. And if I try to change it, nothing at all. And I can't change the volume with it either, or the channel or anything. So that's completely useless. I'd like to maybe, because there's a screw just there, I'd like to maybe undo the steering column area here and see if I could fix that. You can see a little bit of scoring there on the plastic just where that attaches, as you can see there. But to be honest, not a huge issue, but a little bit annoying. On the passenger side, we have got a few issues here with this door card. As you can see here, it looks like it's been removed in the past and not really clipped back in properly or secured. Not sure why that was, but yeah, it's just a little bit flimsy, which is annoying. And I think this little storage compartment here has probably been used to lever the door in position, even though we have got quite a chunky handle, because as you can see there, it's damaged quite badly. I did try to stick a little screw in there to see if I could hold it up, but it's rung. That hole is rung completely, which is a shame. Actually looks like it may have been glued in position at the bottom there, and that's obviously somebody tried to stick that back on. It's the same here. It's actually even worse, or the damage, sorry, is even worse here. And there are a couple of little screws, I think, holding it in at the bottom just there. But yeah, not ideal. I was kind of toying with the idea of trying to find a replacement door card. You know, even because, I mean, like, that's not, I don't think that's original. That's different to that one over there. And, you know, that's all discoloured as well. But, yeah, I mean, try finding yourself a Mark 1 Peugeot 306 door card in Ireland, and you'd probably be quicker winning the lottery. The build quality on this car so far has been, or has seemed to be, really rather good, but it is French. You're never going to get away from some flimsy plastics, and this one lives, or should live, there, as far as I know, but it never stays in position, as you can see. I recently purchased a bottle of this stuff, anti-corrosion undercoating, and that is because one of the traditional corrosion weak spots for a Peugeot 306 is this area where the seatbelt mount is welded to the shell of the car. For some utterly bizarre reason, Peugeot fitted arch liners on the front, on that rear quarter. As you can see there, it's nice and solid there. And on the front, as I was saying, but for some really strange reason on early cars, or relatively early cars, not here. Now, I don't know what you can see, probably not very much in the dark, but basically that goes right the way up to the roof of the car. And they basically, mud and detritus accumulates up in that top corner area around here and rots out. So when the weather gets a little bit drier, I'll clean it out under there with a wire brush or whatever. I'll stick my arm up as far as I can get it, give it a good spray of this and hope for the best. Ideally, I'd love to get my hands on the arch liner from a later car. I think the Mark 3s, or Phase 3s of these had them. But again, they're not very easy to find. Oh, and I forgot to mention my sunroof, which on top is looking a little bit worse for wear. As you can see there, all the paint has vanished, or is in the process of vanishing, and there's some moss. Yeah, so if we come inside, we can see here that it is actually a Britax sunroof. How posh. I love that little decal there. It's pretty nice and in really good nick. Not going to open it up though. I mean, because the car's been fine so far, I'd actually fancy that it wouldn't leak and it'd be absolutely okay. But I've had bad experience with the K11 Micro that I had recently, so I'm going to leave that sunroof shut. So that's it then for this Peugeot 306 update. You will of course be seeing a lot more of this on the channel over the next few weeks and months, and hopefully I'll be a little bit less busy with more time to document it. As I said, so yeah, blind corner, so give a little beep as it says on the signs. As I said, it's been such a hoot to own, and I've really enjoyed it. It's nice to have what I consider to be a genuine modern classic, which these almost undoubtedly are at this stage. And it turns heads. I had two young lads in a 20-year-old Avensis stop me the other day, and they were really rather pleasant. I had a brief chat and they said if you ever want to get rid of it, we'll buy it. Which was nice of them. It's not going to happen because I know what would happen to it. It would get slammed with silly wheels, blacked out windows, and they'd tear out the perfectly frugal and nippy 1.4 petrol and stick a D-turbo in it, which is all the rage over here for some reason. And we don't want that to happen, do we? Because original, unabused, unmolested cars of this age are rare, and I think this one deserves to be celebrated and kept the way it is. So, thank you. None of that will be happening. This is going to be a keeper for a while, I intend, and I do desperately hope. You never know with life situations, but I hope this one's going to be here for a good while longer. So yeah, keep an eye on the channel for plenty more 306 content. I do hope to potentially even show it at a couple of car shows across the country a little bit later in the summer. We'll have to see how I'm working and logistics, etc, etc, but we'll see what happens with regards to that.